Hi guys, it's been a while since I made a video. I've been a little bit busy, didn't quite have or found the time to actually do another video. But today we're gonna do a tutorial on how to replace the hard drive into a 27-inch 2019 iMac. It's the iMac A2115. The reason I'm doing this one, even though I've made a couple different videos with the disassembly of an iMac after 2013 one, is because most of the videos you'll find on YouTube, they showed instructions for a Mac 2013 to 2017, and then it stops there. Now, to be honest, this is the first 2019 iMac I'm actually working on. Why? Because pretty much they're a new machine. They didn't have a chance to actually break yet, or people they customize it right from the very beginning, so no need to do any kind of upgrades. The reason this customer brought in the computer, he wants to change the computer. Originally came with a 2 terabytes Fusion drive, which on a short, just tell you what a Fusion drive means for Apple people only. For PC it means something else. So inside of your Mac you're gonna have one of these drives, which is a regular hard drive, a rotational hard drive, and you're gonna have a small flash drive. Now these two are combined by software, proprietary software, Apple proprietary software. So basically the small flash drive, it's used mostly as a cache drive. It slightly speeds up the speed of the regular hard drive. In a PC world, Fusion drive is basically an hybrid drive, which is just one entity which has a small SSD built into it. Anyways, I still don't see why Apple they do offer an SSD, but not such a high capacity SSD. Like for example, this customer, he chose his own SSD. He's gonna go with the 2 terabytes Crucial, which is fairly cheap. Apple they do not offer a 2 terabytes SSD option. It's beyond me why, because obviously people are buying the iMac. Most of the people who buy the iMac are they're working with video or photo processing. They're gonna have nowadays the formats are much larger than before, so you need, yes, you have the cloud storage and you might have external hard drives, but you also want to have a computer which has at least a 2 terabytes solid state drive. Should be an option. But anyways, that's not my job to judge, or I'm just telling you what this particular customer needs. Now, before you start this job, the instructions I'm going to show are going to be identical if you want to change, as I said, if you want to change the hard drive inside, if you need to get access to your motherboard for any reason, change a fan, or God knows why you would want to go inside, maybe change the speakers if your speakers are blown, which it's highly improbable, but let's say, or if you want to change the screen. If you drop the iMac and the screen cracked, that's one way to disassemble and to reassemble it. Now, what you would need for that, it's your opening tool, which is this little tool, which looks more like a pizza cutter. Okay, this is to actually go around the sides of the LCD and cut the glue which they use to fix the screen to the assembly. Secondly, you're gonna need order this prior, and don't be cheap on them. That's the adhesive strips. This you're gonna need it the best quality one you can find. If you use an inferior ones, the price for them will vary anywhere between $12 to around $27. I'm not gonna mention the brands, but if you use a cheap one, chances are your screen is going to come on glue. You're gonna mess up your Mac or your screen. So buy a good quality one. And last but not least, you need an SSD. So go with whatever dimensions you might wanna go. Okay, now without any further ado, let's bring in the computer and I'll show you guys how to open it up. Okay, so this is the iMac. It is actually brand new. It was not even removed from the from this protective sleeve. Okay. And it also has, this can count also as the unwrapping of the Mac video. Yeah, some people are making the unwrapping video for some products. That's beyond me why people would actually watch how somebody unwraps a certain product. But again, some people, they have a lot of time on their hands. So anyways, let's just remove the protective film. And as you can see, it does, the 2019 does not, well, to a first look, it doesn't look any different than any previous models. Of course, the technology used inside it is different, but the outside of the machine, the aesthetics of it are, to me, they look like the older versions. You'll have, just put this outside. Okay, so it still has, if you want to upgrade the RAM, it still has the little door right here under the leg. You have, you can just pop this one up and insert the RAM. As many of them, they come, for example, this one came with an 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is a little bit too little, so you might want to upgrade that as well, because it's gonna be a little bit cheaper if you do it yourself rather than customizing it through Apple. Now on the thickness, let's see if you guys can actually see. You see the thickness of it? For me, it looks pretty much as I didn't measure it, but it looks as thick as let's say a 2017 one. And as you see the screen, it's, you can see a little gap here between the aluminum shell and the actual glass. So that's where we're gonna insert this little tool, and we're gonna go from anywhere. We're gonna slowly go up and down. Now, why do you need this to be rotational one? Because if you would use any other tool, you're just gonna actually kind of tear it apart. With this one, you're gonna cut the glue, so it's gonna be a much nicer cut and the less chances you have to actually crack the screen. Yes, sometimes the screen cracks, and I noticed that it depends a lot on where that particular iMac, I mean the factory where it was assembled, because sometimes they use a different not different type of glue, but maybe, well, it is different because it's got it's more adherent than others. So sometimes some of them you can open it up really easy, sometimes it takes a little bit of an effort, and no, it's not one of those iMacs where actually there's been some work done before, so a technician might have put his own glue, so that would make a difference. Now let me just set up the camera so you can actually, okay, kind of see like that. Now before you start doing that, I would highly recommend you to feel the Mac and make sure it's kind of the room temperature. Actually a little bit warm would be better, because the glue is more malleable or more flexible when it's at the room temperature rather than when it's cold. If you're gonna attempt this in a room where it was AC and the computer feels cold, give it a little time to actually warm up, and or you can use a heat gun on a low setting. Just go on the side of the panel, and like that you will release. You'll make the glue a little bit softer. Now, without further ado, I typically start on the sides. Okay, you can start anywhere you want. If you want to start from the top, feel free. I usually go like this. Have a lot of patience. You don't have to rush through it. honestly. If this is gonna take an hour, do it for an hour. If you don't have an hour set up for this procedure, better don't do it, because there is the risk of cracking the glass. The glass is very sensitive. Okay, so we're gonna go like this on the side for now. Okay, and I'll be right back. Also, what I want to mention, make sure the computer is not completely flat, but put it towards the back if you choose to do it standing up, so the screen cannot come towards you. Okay. And go very slowly. Okay, don't rush. You'll find that there are parts where actually the adhesive strips cut much easier than in other parts. For example, here towards the middle of it, it is much harder to be cut. So we're not gonna insert the tool all the way in, but first we start with pretty much a quarter and then half, and then we go all the way to this rivet, plastic rivet. Make sure you don't move it left and right, but try to keep it as straight as possible. One of the places where it's more common to break would be right here on the bottom. Okay, so use extra caution. Again, it's absolutely normal for the disc not to go all the way in from the very beginning. Okay, I'm gonna stop the video right now because you don't want to see me keep playing with this guy. I'll return when I'm to the top and to the other side. Okay, so see you in a bit.
You sure you don't need the charger, right?
So now that we finished to the side, we want to move to the top. On the top, usually I don't start directly here on the corner, because you know you want the glass has some flexibility up to a point. So if you start somewhere towards the middle, even if you make a little bit mistake, the glass will flex rather than break. If you start from here and this one moves or something, you can crack it. So we're gonna start pretty much from somewhere around the camera port and work our way either to the left or to the right, up to you. Slowly, a lot of patience. I'm gonna stop again the video, as there's no point to show you how I do this, as it's nothing but rolling the actual cutter from left to right and vice versa. We'll resume the video when the screen is unglued, and I will show you how to properly lift it. Okay, so pretty much I have all the sides. The glue is removed. Now, before the next step, I would recommend you to go very slowly with this little tool around all the edges of the computer, and make sure that the tool will go in all the way to here where it's got the stopper, in all the points, because the next step we will lift using suction cups. We're gonna lift the screen, so if there's any glue left, that might mess up the screen. So you want to go especially here down where I said that's the part which is actually the glue is strongest. So you double check from the sides to the top that the tool goes all the way in, and once you make sure that that's the case, we're gonna go to the next step. Okay, so you see here on the right side there is still a little bit glue left, so let's work on it a little bit more. It's definitely in the 219 they use a different type of glue. It is a little bit harder to remove than in the previous years, but still doable. Now we have the glue removed, cut from all the sides. We're gonna put the computer flat on your workbench, and we're gonna, I need to charge something, so bear with me for a second. Okay, we will grab these suction cups. Okay, 2 of them. Now there are companies who sell all the tools needed for this one. So in other words, they will sell you this piece, the 2 suction cups, plus 1 set of strips. You can find them on Amazon. I prefer not to mention their names, as that might sound like an endorsement, which I don't endorse any kind of products on this channel. Okay, so let me just adjust the camera. So we'll put the suction cups to the 2 ends, and you slowly lift on it while going with this to loosen the glue. Okay, now you'll see there is the gap. It's big enough that I could actually see inside. You see right here. So what I'm gonna do, I can either use a flashlight or something to just see where the glue is not completely loosened. And if you see anything like that, that's where the other end of the pry tool comes in handy. You'll just insert that and you're gonna loosen the glue tape. Okay, so okay, perfect. Now we're gonna go on this end and see how it looks. It looks good. Looks like it needs a little bit more work here. Okay. Okay. And now we're gonna go on the sides. Okay. So again, with the other end of the tool, make sure there's no loose, not loose, still attached glue. If it is, this will break it nicely. There still is, and here we go. Here we managed to actually grab it. If you can actually see it, you see the glue in here. We actually can see we can pull it out just like that, and this is ideal because that will allow us to completely remove it. Okay, so that's on one side. Let's see what's on the other side, if we can grab it in here as well. Yep, and we will slowly remove it. I know you probably can't see much right now. Okay, now it looks like the screen is giving in. I have enough space to actually put my fingers underneath, and just grab this adhesive strip, peel it off, and And okay, that's from the side. The other side. Now let's see if we slowly try to lift the screen. Okay. Now, as a first thought, this screen feels, again, I don't have the official measurements and I don't know the exact numbers, but it does somewhat feel a little bit, not flimsier, but a little bit thinner than the screens in the previous models. That's just how it feels to the touch. So I got no measurements to support this, but okay. Now slowly lift the screen up, because keep in mind there is still a layer of adhesive on the very bottom of it, which is still holding there. Okay, so we don't want to crack the screen. Okay, and now I'm keep saying cracking. It's just you want to avoid that because this is a 5K display and it's not the cheapest one to replace. Okay, so let's see, now that the screen is almost up. Okay, I can grab the adhesive strip from this side and pull it right out, so I know there's nothing on the left, and we'll do that with a pair of tweezers on the right hand side. Yep, nothing left there. And now I'm going to give you a glimpse of what's inside of this guy, where the cables are. Okay, let's see how we're going to do this. I have to show you how to disconnect the actual cables from the inside. So now see, you have two cables here underneath. You have the LCD cable, which is the thicker one. It has a little bit of a tape. You must take my word for it. I'm going to show you once it's open how exactly it looks and how to remove it. So watch, fast forward the video. You need a small tweezers. Okay, there is a plastic tab which you lift and then you pull towards you. That will remove the LVDS, the LCD cable. Okay, so that's out. And then you have the power supply cable, which you'll just pull towards you slowly, because you'll have to pull on the cables. And if you've seen any other videos of mine, I highly recommend you not to pull on the cables. However, in this one you have no other option but to actually pull on the cable. Okay, so now we're gonna move to the bottom glue, and the way we're gonna get that one, you take this tool and you go like that all the way on the bottom. If you reach it, you'll have to angle the screen to a point where you can actually reach over there. Now there is another way in doing things. That's always two ways, so I'm gonna show you. You see this tab. Let me see what you guys see. There is a tab on the side which looks like it's hard for me to actually see what you guys are seeing, so let me try to. Okay, now there is, let me put it here. in here you can actually see the adhesive strip. You see it is right here. This guy right here. My hand is there. You see? It's right there. Now that one you can grab it either with a strong tweezers or with a long nose plier and just pull it towards you. It is much better than actually cutting it. So you can grab onto it. Okay. And you'll slowly pull it towards you. Okay. Now I can grab it with my fingers and slowly pull it towards you. Okay. Okay, so you had it out from one side, and now we're gonna do it from the other side as well. Probably not gonna be able to see anything, but let's see, we're gonna grab it and then pull it towards you. Definitely stronger tape than in previous models. Comes off much harder. Okay, now we have it out, and
we also got Sevi in here. I think he lifts weights. He can protect me.
Yep.
No, that guy's nuts.
Oh, okay.
The guy came in here before. He's the guy who looked at me and said I should punch you in the face.
Really?
But he was on medication.
Okay. So there's still a little bit left. Somewhere towards the middle, I believe so. Let's see where exactly. There is glue left. Ah, there you go. Okay. Now we're just gonna leave the screen just like this, put it somewhere safe. I'll be right back. And here's a first look inside of a first look for me inside of the 2019 iMac. Let me actually put it like this so you guys can actually see it. Yeah, so here it is. Now if you've seen any other iMacs before, there's not actually very big differences other than the connectors. Obviously the parts which they use inside, they're different than previous versions, but overall it looks almost identical with its older brothers. Here you have your hard drive, which I'll show you right now how to remove the old one. There's the so-called fusion drive, and let's get to removing it. Okay, let me find my screwdrivers and we'll get to it in a short second, in a jiffy. Okay, now I cannot work on the Mac when it's like that, so I'll have to put it to sit it down like this.
I turn the AC off, or you want me to leave it on until you leave?
Okay, sorry for the interruptions. Okay, so here we go. This is your hard drive. Now you're gonna need a Torx screwdriver to remove it. You will need the T8. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna remove the right speaker. Okay, because under the right speaker, is facing me right, but actually left. We have to move it out of the way because you have two screws for the hard drive which are located under the speaker. So you release these two screws, you lift it, and you just move it on the side, just like this. you don't have to completely remove it. Now, as you'll see, okay, you have the two screws, one there and one here, which they have to be removed. So with the same T5 screw, one I'm just losing it because they're pretty, okay, they're pretty tight. One there and one here. Okay, so one side it's released and the hard drive will come out just like this, nice and easy. We're gonna remove the bracket, and we have to remove this connector from the hard drive. Okay, so let's see. All you have to do is just pull on it and it's out. So this is your original drive, which is now removed. Okay, you'll notice it has those little screws right there, okay, one on each side, which actually they're used to fix it into the brackets. We're gonna remove those as well. Okay, let me just you'll need the same T8 screwdriver. The screws are very tight, so I have to loosen them just like this. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and now they're ready to be removed. Two, 3 and 4. Okay. I'm gonna put this hard drive on the side for now, as we won't need it. And now let's see, let's take the original SSD, which the customer brought. Okay, I have to cut it open, so bear with me for a short second. Okay. You can use any type of SSD you'd want, preferably some from a reputable brand. So as you see, this is much smaller than the original drive. This is a 2.5 inch drive, whereas this one, the original one, it's a 3.5 inch. So for that, you need to get one of these little enclosures. You'll find it anywhere. It's probably around $7-8. So what this will allow us to do, it will allow us to put the SSD in just like so. You can still put the connector in, and this one will allow us to fix it on the side. Okay, so I'm just gonna mount the SSD into this little guy, and I'm gonna resume the video. Now that we have the SSD in place, we're gonna put back the speaker. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's remove the screw because it doesn't go where it's supposed to. Okay, make sure it's aligned. Okay, there you go. That's in. And this fella is on. Okay. Now, we will, before we put the screen and before I show you how to reapply the glue, we want to turn this computer on Preferably you would have an external screen where you can test it with, and I want to make sure that the computer will detect the SSD, as sometimes the SSD will need to be formatted prior of it to be installed in the machine. I've seen it many times, so you don't want to find out that you put the screen back on and then the hard drive is not recognized, and your only option would be to actually have it removed from your machine. Don't ask me why that happens, I do not know, it's just so it happens. It happened before. So we're gonna turn this computer upside down. We're gonna take its plug. Let's remove this plastic. Okay. So let's see, let's find the power cable. Power cable, here we go. I have its original one, it's in the box, but I'm too lazy to bring it. I'm gonna connect this one here. We're gonna take an adapter, USB-C in the case of this one, or for older Macs you have a different type. You have actually a display port. I'm gonna take this USB-C adapter and we're gonna plug it in the USB-C. We're gonna take an HDMI cable, and let me just find the HDMI. There you go. Okay, I should have actually stopped this video until I have everything connected. We're gonna plug in a mouse and a keyboard. And we can skip over this part. I know it's boring, because I'm trying to do everything in real time, especially as I mentioned, it's Saturday night. I'm at the end of my work week and I don't really have time to keep pausing the video and starting all over once it's ready. So yeah, I'm gonna plug in a USB which has the operating system installed. You can also plug in your old hard drive and just start from there. And let's see, let me put this camera onto the monitor we're gonna use, so I should get an image right there. Okay, the computer started. I'm getting the Apple logo. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see what's gonna happen. Okay, this would be the first time this computer was started, so let's see. So yeah guys, I had from where the video stopped, I had to actually clone the installed operating system into the new SSD drive. That took a little while, especially because without the screen installed in the computer runs extremely slow and extremely loud, because the system detects there is no screen attached. I think it's a hardware problem, so the whole system is throttled down. I managed, it took me around 40 minutes to clone just the operating system via USB-C on an SSD drive, which typically should take less than 4 minutes. But yeah, it took me a while. But as you can see, let me zoom there. As you can see right there, right now it does. Okay, let's see if you guys can see. storage. It's a solid state drive. Come on, focus. Solid state drive right there. Overview, as you can see, macOS Mojave 3.6 Core i9. The RAM has to be upgraded in this guy. You can go up to 64 gigabytes. But anyways, long story short, the computer does work. Now, I took the liberty to apply the tape. You see the adhesive tape on the side of the screen. So as you can see, it is the white tape here, there, and all over. So now we're gonna shut down the computer. I'm gonna show you how to clean the remaining tape from the LCD itself, and how to do an extra test before you apply the LCD permanently back to the case. You want to make sure that everything is working before you do anything, which, you know, is, believe me, once you apply these adhesive strips, it's gonna be very hard to have them removed. So now I'm gonna shut this guy down. I'm gonna disconnect all the cables. You see, even shutting down, it takes quite a little bit of time. Definitely not normal behavior for a Mac, for an iMac this new, or for any iMac, doesn't matter how old it is. But that's because of a server issue while the screen is off. So I'm gonna let it slowly shut down, whatever it might take. And meanwhile, just gonna arrange the stuff here. Okay, finally, quiet. Okay, I'm gonna bring the screen back here. I'm gonna put this one down. Come on, tripod. Yeah, the bench is a mess, but I have to excuse it. I'm gonna put this fella down for now. I'm gonna leave the power cable still connected, because I will have to actually test it, and I'm gonna make sure the surface you're gonna put the screen on has absolutely no debris on it. It's completely free of any kind of, you know, screws or anything like that. Go a couple times, because we're gonna put the screw here. We're gonna put the screen there, and any screws which might be in the working surface will crack the screen. Again, that's not something you want to do to a brand new or to a Mac. Doesn't matter how old or how new it is, because the screen of these guys, it's pretty damn expensive and a pain in the neck to have replaced. So I will have to move the camera a little bit to make a little bit of a space here. It's pretty cramped. I didn't have time to clean up or anything. I'm not going to do it anyways. It's end of the work week, baby. I need to go have a beer. It's hot like crazy outside, and probably it's gonna be a long way home, because just found out that's a major blackout in Manhattan. People are walking home, trains are stuck, so you know. Anyways, now I told you I'm gonna show you how to remove the adhesive strips. You see, it's right here. That's the part I'm talking about. So just put something sharp, make sure you don't scratch the screen, and we're just going to pretty much lift the remaining tape from the screen. Okay, just like this. You see, once you grab it, it nicely peels off. So I'm gonna stop the video right now. I'm gonna finish peeling the adhesive, and I'm gonna show you the test you have to do before gluing the screen back into the computer. Okay, so I'll see you in a bit. So I have the adhesive strips removed from the screen as well. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the iMac body, we're gonna sit it just like this on your desk, and we wanna test the speed of the Mac with the screen attached, because as I mentioned before, without the screen on, the Mac is incredibly slow. So wanna see if that's an issue with the sensor detecting that there is no screen attached. So we're gonna take the keyboard and mouse, gonna plug it in. And now we're just going to take the screen and just connect it without. Okay, so I'm gonna show you right now. We're gonna put the screen on top. Do not remove the protective layer on top of the glue, okay? Because then in case it's on the other side and see. First of all, we're gonna test the screen. You'll see the Apple logo right there. The loading bar, it is considerably faster than how it was with the screen off. Now let's see. Remember, it has Mojave. Mojave typically takes a little bit longer to boot. Let's see. And considering that this has an SSD installed, it's still not the speed I would expect it to have, but yeah, here we go. Let's see. Oh yeah, definitely the way it's supposed to be. We're gonna do this. The fan is now running like crazy. And let's see. We do about this Mac. Yep, it is working the way it's supposed to be working. So now we're gonna shut it off. Shut down. Let's see how long it takes to shut off. Remember when I turned it off last time, it took quite a while. And let's see, yeah. Okay. So it's off. Yeah, it takes a little bit of a while. I'm gonna troubleshoot that, but bottom line is LCD it's installed. It works just fine. SSD it's installed. It works just fine. So now I'm just going to remove the adhesive strips, adhesive protecting strips from the adhesive. We're gonna sit the LCD back on, and remember, for the first couple of times, please keep the screen not straight but a little bit of an angle, so the adhesive strips will have time to cure. So with that said, this was the disassembly of the 27-inch iMac from 2019. It took me a little while. It should take you a little bit of time. Please remember, do not rush through any of the disassembly steps. Take your time while removing the screen. And if at any point you feel you're not confident doing it, just take it to a shop. It's gonna be cheaper than having to replace the screen yourself in case it breaks. So yeah, with that said, I hope you guys learned something. I hope I helped you somewhat, or I just gave you an idea on how to do things, and you saw the difference, or not the big difference, between the iMac 2019 and the previous ones which I opened up, 2017, 2016, 15, etc, etc. With that said, if this video was useful for you, please leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe to my channel, where I'm trying to bring you new videos about simple repairs which you can attempt yourself. I don't promise a lot of videos on a regular basis, because I do the videos as times allow. Been busy lately, so I didn't have time to make new ones, but I'll try to make new ones in the future, more of them. Till next time, take care, have a good one.